So Emmanuel Quickley, upon his exit, had penned a letter to the city thanking everybody. And boy, it was hard as hell to read that because we all love Quickley. He embodied a lot of characteristics of the Knicks, whether it be the off-ball movement, the defensive tenacity with the rebounding, the closeouts, and just the spark he brought to the team, that energy, that swagger. We all gonna miss Quick, but before I get to that letter, I wanna say this, the pivot's real. With the new CBA coming, a lot of changes are coming throughout the NBA, and the pivot is real, and we gotta be ready to make changes real fast. And it's unfortunate because Quickley, Obi, guys like RJ, they are the casuals, but sometimes when you make tough decisions like that, there's growth at the end of that. And we've seen it play out with plenty other NBA teams. When the Toronto Raptors let go of DeMar DeRozan, they end up picking up Kawhi and going all the way to a championship. Just that one little change. Same thing for the Boston Celtics, getting rid of beloved Marcus Smart and adding KP to their front court. That gives them an option in that half-court offense and is actually elevating them up to a whole nother level. And finally, we could look at a team that was scared to make the pivot, like the Philadelphia 76ers in 2019 when they had Jimmy Butler. The real move for them would have been to give up Ben Simmons and re-sign Jimmy Butler. As we've seen good old Jimmy Boy lead the Miami Heat 2 out of the last 3 seasons to the NBA Finals. So teams understanding the landscape and knowing when to pivot is most important. And when it came to Emmanuel Quickley, unfortunately, the landscape of the league with the new deals that came about, especially for rookies coming off their extensions, the deal that Jalen McDaniels got out in Minnesota, 5 years for $136 million. That $18 million offer that the Knicks gave Quickley was just not going to cut it. And that $18 million for the Knicks' perspective was a stretch. They was already paying Jalen Brunson to basically do the same things. And in a year or so, Jalen Brunson and possibly Julius Randle, if they make all NBA, will actually qualify for a Supermax. So it's going to make things even more complicated, especially when you add on the new CBA, which now money won't even matter for most teams because as soon as you're over a certain amount of the cap, which is $17 million, they limit you on what kind of trades and signees you can make. So pivoting off Emmanuel Quickley was only inevitable because with the cap going up, other teams was definitely going to be willing to give him exactly what he was looking for once he hit restricted free agency. But one aspect that was kind of overlooked about this trade was Leon Rose kind of understanding the Toronto Raptors circumstance. They owed the San Antonio Spurs a draft pick this summer, but it was top 6 protected. So the Raptors were not bad enough to fall within that protection of top 6. So they would have possibly ended up giving the Toronto Raptors a 7th pick through a 10th pick. So they still would have kind of fell within that lottery. As before the trade, they were the 7th worst team. So this trade for the Raptors actually improved their team enough where they could possibly fall outside of the top 10 and not owe San Antonio a top 10 pick. It didn't make sense enough for them to be top 10, but they were not bad enough to fall within top 6 to be protected. So it was definitely a funny conundrum that they were in. They did not want to be bad enough to bless the San Antonio Spurs of having 2 top 10 picks in the 2024 NBA draft. So they had to get better fast. So kudos to Leon Rose and the front office of the Knicks for making things happen. And situations like this is kind of part of the science that gets cooked up that we sometimes overlook. The circumstance that other teams are at. What do they owe? So with the ever-changing landscape, we don't know what could become of what, but it's great to see the Knicks were able to utilize this trade and get a much-needed asset in OG. And not only he was a much-needed asset, he was an asset that was very sought after. A lot of the contending teams were trying to get OG. But quickly after his exit, was able to pen a letter to the city, and let's see what he had to say.
I see the WOJ bomb. I see the Shams tweet. I immediately called Johnny Bryant. He's somebody that was basically my big brother while I was with the Knicks, somebody that I talked to about anything, my relationship with God, church, my family, anything. I would go to Johnny. So I called him. He was like, you know what it takes, you were built for this. Obviously, it's a business, but you have the formula to be successful. Johnny told me to continue to lean on God and the work ethic that got me there. That plane ride back to New York was eerie. I'll never forget that. The Knicks still had a game that night, and I remember sitting on the plane and putting on NBA League Pass, seeing that they were playing. I watched, and it felt like I was missing a game almost, like I was just out or something. I'm looking at all my teammates on that little airplane screen just thinking like, wait, am I missing a game? It was so weird. It just still didn't feel real that I wasn't on the team anymore. It's funny thinking about the little New York things that just become part of your normal, you know what I mean? When you play here, everybody know the Knicks, which mean everybody know you. More than anything, I just gotta say thank you to the whole Knicks organization from top to bottom for taking a chance on me and believing in me enough to take me in the first round. Thanks Leon Rose and Scott Perry and the whole front office. Thibs, thank you for trusting me in big moments. You treated me with nothing but respect and love through the ups and downs. Johnny, thank you for everything. I have so many teammates, some who aren't there anymore, that were such a big influence on me. Thank all of you guys. Julius and RJ. Allen Houston. Everybody. And last but not least, I want to thank the fans for staying with us, for staying with me. I wish I could hug all of you guys. Every night you go out there on the court, you're playing for the team above all else. But the way you guys embraced me gave me something to play for that was bigger than myself, bigger than the team. Every night, deep down I was playing for you.
And we definitely appreciate Quickley, and we wish him the best in Toronto, as he's at the best position that he possibly can be, being on a team that not only wants him, but has a cap room to put him in position to supply a lot of generational wealth for his family. So shout out to Quickley, congratulations, and we wish you the best. And with this Quickley RJ trade, it kind of spots a light on the Knicks and their development over the years, which is something that we haven't seen in a while. Not only we've developed the second rounder Mitchell Robinson into one of the most dominating centers in the league right now, but all the way from the second rounders to guys like Quentin Grimes, RJ, Quickley, and even McBride. The Knicks development team in the past few years, definitely we got to shout them out too. They've done an amazing job, because I believe it's been over quite some time since we've seen the Knicks actually develop players that they drafted into key contributing pieces, not only for the Knicks, but wanted by other teams. But again, going to the landscape of the league, if Brunson and Randall this season or next season make all NBA, they can trigger a super max contract and opt out early. So that does change a lot of dynamics for the team. And unfortunately for the Knicks, they did not have the cap space to re-sign guys like Quickley. But Leon Rose, even though he acquired OG and added a huge piece that the team needed, especially defensively, he still has a long way to go, as he's pretty much in a juggling act, managing the contracts already on the team, as well as dealing with the new changes in the upcoming CBA this summer, and fitting that all into a certain tier where the Knicks from season to season can still have enough room to at least add one or two guys, maybe with certain exceptions, but you have to stay in a sweet spot. You can't be $17 million over the cap, because starting this summer, we'll see teams like the Golden State Warriors, the Phoenix Suns, the LA Clippers. They're going to have a very difficult time making moves outside of the roster that they already have.